If we look at the image, we see the icons are seated in an arch, which is a proxy of the church itself. The icon of Pentecost is one of those icons which, although it does represent an event in the Bible, it represents it in a manner that goes beyond the event and becomes a permanent image of how the church exists in the world. And the hint that this is the case is that although St. Paul was not there at the event in the Bible, he is represented in this icon. And here St. Peter and St. Paul are represented together as the pillars of the church, as the left hand and right hand of Christ. Above the apostles is the holy fire which descends on them. This fire separates into 12, just as the apostles themselves each acquired tongues of fire, tongues which speak in a manner that can reveal Christ through multiplicity and be heard by all men. And then down in the bottom of the icon is the door which leads outside the upper room. It is the door which leads out into the outer darkness. And in the door is represented the allegorical figure of the cosmos itself, which holds the scrolls, the fully manifest form of the 12 traditions issued by the one fire, the one church whose unity is preserved in its multiplicity. And of course, the door of Pentecost is the door of the church itself. The church considered at all levels of interpretation that we can understand that statement. It's both the door of the church in the sense of the cosmic body of Christ, but it's also the door on the building of your local church. The door on the building of your local church. The door on the building of your local church. The door which leads out of the nave of the narthex into the chaotic outside. Now, in earlier traditions of the Pentecost, what was represented in the door was not the synthetic image of cosmos. And the very earliest images that I could find in this form of Pentecost, they all come from right after iconoclasm, and they represent an empty door. But very soon in the door was represented a crowd of foreigners, all with different hats, and different clothing, and different shades of skin color. This is one of my favorite versions from a Serbian monastery. And here the door of Pentecost is actually a window which leads outside of the church. And the foreigners appear coming towards the church from the edge on the sides. On the sides. On the sides. And the foreigners appear coming towards the church from the edge on the sides. There's a tradition from Armenia which portrays a monster in the door of Pentecost. The monster is either a dog-headed man, a cynocephalus, or else it is truly an unnameable monster, a kind of chaotic being with a dog face growing behind its head. This was the image that I chose as the first slide of my presentation. Now, the first time I saw this image, I came across it in a book, and I was startled beyond belief. I mean, I guess you can imagine. But as I began to understand the image of Pentecost, I realized to what extent this is a testimony to the totality of what Christianity is meant to be. The true possibility of God being all in all. The true possibility of God being all in all. The true possibility of God being all in all.